Now it's time to paint, and we're going to start with the blade. But how do we get this to look like this? Well, I have an idea, and it involves first taking off this protective paper shield that they put on the plastic to keep it from scratching. So let's do that. So to get that swirled effect, almost like oil and water effect that this blade has, I'm going to be using hot glue. Yeah, sounds weird, but I'm going to show you how. Basically, I'm going to be drizzling this from a high angle and just trying to make nice little swirls and patterns with it. And I'm going to go through all the blade on both sides, then spray it with black spray paint. After the paint's all the way dry, I'm going to peel off the hot glue like it was masking, and it should leave us with a really cool swirling pattern with the white coming through the black. Let's see if it works. So by now you've probably realized that I'm making two Darksabers, and that was so I could try two different colored blades. The first one I kept the white the same color as the acrylic, and this one I put a metallic spray paint on. I'm still going to do the same hot glue method, but for this one you're going to see the metallic coming through the black instead of just the white coming through the black. Okay, so the blades have been drying. They are dry to the touch. I'm going to take the hot glue, I'm going to peel it off to reveal the color underneath. I'm going to start with the white one, then move on to the silver one. So the blade is done, it's dry. I put a couple clear coats on just to protect it so nothing scratches it. And I also added a little bit of tape on the tang here so that it would fit nice and snug in here. Just like that. Now I'm going to use super glue, cover the tang, put it in the slot, let it dry. Then once that's dry, I'm going to take my drill and drill two holes here that are exactly the same size as these two small dowels that I cut. And I'm going to put these dowels in with some epoxy and pin it in just like any other knife. So the epoxy has finished drying from last night. Also last night off camera, I added this 2-part epoxy sculpt. It's a 2-part clay that you mix together in equal parts, and it hardens after about 12 hours. And so I use that to fill the gaps underneath and over each of the blades. And so now we're going to use a belt sander and grind off the clay and the wooden dowels that are sticking out. Okay, so everything is sanded flush. The dowels are sanded, the tops, the bottoms are all sanded. I went over everything again with my sanding blocks, and now it comes time for assembly. That's putting on the handguard and 11 of those little squares that we made. I'll be using the template as a guide for where the squares will go and where the handle will finally end up. And I'm going to be using super glue to attach these and epoxy to attach the handguard. So it's really starting to come together. I attached these with super glue, and I ended up attaching this with super glue as well. It just made it faster and easier. Now it's time to paint the handle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the blade with some paper towels and tape to make sure it doesn't get any paint on it. I'm going to put a silver base on this one first, then a clear coat, let that dry, then put a black on top, use a sandpaper, sand off the black a little bit so that the silver pops through, and we'll see how that works. On the second one, I'll be just doing a black coat, then a clear coat, then I'll be using silver rub and buff, using the old chip brush, and lightly brushing on some silver. So 2 different effects, we'll see how they look. So the paint is dry, now we can sand it. So I have this 100 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to take it Well, the moral of that little problem is be careful with your blades, because they might snap in half. Or, you can be smart and just buy polycarbonate. I should have known not to buy acrylic and to buy polycarbonate. That's what all the professional dueling blades are made out of. It's much, much stronger than acrylic, and they sell it at the same place where I got this. So, my recommendation is spend the extra money, buy the polycarbonate. But I did repair it. I glued it back together. It's fairly weak right now, so this will definitely just be hanging on my wall as a display. I can't really carry it around with me. But I sanded it, put a clear coat on, and this one is complete. It's done. I'm gonna move on to the second one, and I will see you when that one is done. Okay, so the other one was fixed. It's fine now. The second one, the one with the white base, that hasn't broken yet, I decided that I wasn't going to go through all the trouble of putting the little squares on if it was just going to break on me. So instead I just put the handle on, I painted it black, and we're going to put the silver rub and buff on this one, because I do want to see the difference between the silver rub and buff and the silver spray paint that we sanded away. I ended up making a third Darksaber, and I was going to go out and get polycarbonate, but I decided to look around my shop to see if I had anything else. And I found this sheet of aluminum, and it was a 1.5 inches thick by like 36 inches long, and it's the perfect thickness. I just had to trim this and the ends here and then cut it off. And this is about 1 to 2 mils thick, and it's super strong. And I made another handle for it. Now I'm still going to do the hot glue method on this one, and I'm going to put the squares on this one and paint everything, and whichever method I like for the painting of the handle, I'll do it on this one. There we have it, the Darksaber from the Clone Wars. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, put it down in the comment section. If you like this video, give it a like. I really hope you guys go out and try this for yourself, and I will see you guys in the next video.